everybody. You are listening to I'm Over It. My name is Atlanta DeCadernet Taylor, and this is my podcast.
I'm here with Serena fucking Kerrigan, the queen of confidence.
Let's fucking go.
I was just telling you that I really think you're my spirit animal.
We love that moment. We love that.
And you get that a lot.
I do get that a lot. What does that mean exactly?
I think it means that you do the things, say the things that people wish they were able to say. Right. And that like you're what goes on in my head, but I don't have the balls to say it out loud.
That's on brand.
You know, like that people are wanting to say what you say, essentially.
That's essentially very true. That's just my job here. It's just to do that.
But you haven't always been like this, no?
Yeah, I have. I don't know. I think before I did it, I think that's what SFK is. Like SFK doesn't give a fuck. Like it's a persona. Like she's a character that I created because I've always been super outgoing and funny and silly. But I think that like in terms of my relationship with men, like I just based so much of my self-worth off of attention from men my whole life. Like I had a lot of sex in high school because like it just gave me this euphoric feeling, not because I was having an orgasm, but because I loved the idea of like that intimacy and like feeling like beautiful and like connected, you know, and then I'd be like, why don't they want to be my boyfriend? It's like, cause they just fucked you and they don't even know you. And like, that's not how you do it. But so I think like I developed this persona and she's just so fun. Like she's a character, you know, she's just like bad bitch, extra, has her face on her nail, you know, and like, I love her and she helped me so much. I love talking about her as if she's someone else.
I know.
She's adorable. She's right here. She's right over there. She helped me so much, like realize that like I am perfect the way I am and I should take up space and that the only person I really need to make me feel worthy is myself. And so it took years of like when Serena and SFK became one.
Right. Like that's what I was going to say is that when did Serena, you know, turn into SFK and like where was Serena? How long were you Serena before SFK really like became, and it's SFK like straight up you now like all the time and like it's not even so much a caricature?
Well, it's weird. It's like so I started this dating show and I know we're going to get into it, but my dad was like, so my dad watches all the dates, which is just the fact that my parents were watching my dates. Like I absolutely can't, but like they're producers. So I do it. So I mean, it's great. And I'm an only child. So it's like, of course, but basically my dad was like, you're coming off a little too SFK. Like I would just tone it down a little bit. And it's really, sometimes I turn on SFK as a self-defense. Like, I'm a bad bitch, like whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like in a way to just be like, I'm too cool, you know? So, but Serena is very soft, very like, so right now you're having a little bit of a mix of both because I will get vulnerable with you. Right now, SFK is pretty like, it's like we got levels here. I mean, I sound insane. I know I sound like I sound insane, but it's there's levels, you know. I think that SFK is just like super confident and fun. When did it happen? I think like at Duke, you know, I just turned it on. Like I was a freshman and I was so insecure. It was just a new environment. I needed it. I wanted to be like, I love being the center of attention and like, I felt invisible. So I was like, what can I do to really go to the extreme? And created that persona. And I just remember it was like my sophomore year, my friends were like, you don't have to,
college or high school?
College. My friends were like, you don't have to introduce yourself as SFK anymore. Like I would literally introduce myself to like teachers. I'm like, I'm Serena fucking Kerrigan. Like everyone. They're like, you don't have to do that anymore. And I was like, why? And they're like, because it's a crutch. And like, you don't need that. And I was like, it's not a crutch. It's my name. Like, I had no idea.
Wait, can you change your name to Serena fucking Kerrigan legally?
No, but like,
someone told me that and I was like, that is incredible.
Oh yeah. No. That's what I told everyone. Because if not, how would they believe me? But no, my middle name's Amelie. It's like beautiful. It's French. Like my parents were like, your initials spell sack. Like, where did you get? I was like, yeah, exactly. SFK has a better ring to it. Thank you.
So you worked at Refinery 29. Was that like your first sort of intro into being in this kind of world of social media, videos, or something like that?
Not at all, honestly.
Okay.
Like I picked up my first camera when I was 15. I took a class in high school. It was a film class. I made a short film. I wrote, directed, edited, produced a short film about a boy who's a junior who broke my heart as a freshman. It's called Freshman. And I won best film at the film festival for high school. And it was like, I've never won anything before. Like I'm terrible at every sport and chess, like what? So winning that and feeling like, oh my God, I literally turned my broken heart into art. Like I made something all by myself. Like it's collaborative as fuck, but like it was being able to create and put something out in the world. Like my dad's a filmmaker, my mom's a TV executive. Like none of this is surprising, but it was like, I was like, I'm going to be a filmmaker. And then I went to Duke and I studied film and visual media studies. I made tons of films throughout high school and college. And then it was clear that like I wanted to do something where I could create. And I loved Refinery 29. I had been reading it forever and I knew they had a really strong video team. And I just started as an intern. And the first day I got there, I was like, cool. So this is going to be where I'm going to be for a little while. Like I knew that I was like, this is it. And it was, and it helped me so much. Like I didn't know that my persona SFK was going to become a brand. Like I didn't anticipate that.
Well, I was going to say that some of the videos I watched from your Refinery 29 days, I felt like maybe they were a little more Serena. Like I feel like I was kind of watching like comparatively. I was like, wow, maybe that was a little more Serena compared to now, compared to some of your IGTVs where you're very clearly SFK.
So exactly. So that's the thing about Refinery though. It was like a refinery brand, right? And I think that the one note that I would get a lot was like, you're not being vulnerable enough on camera. Like you're like, I would do small little videos that aren't probably on YouTube that were like me being like funny SFK. And they're like, no, like we want our audience to like, and it was a great exercise for me. But SFK is my brand. So yeah, when I left Refinery, I was like, it's time to show the world.
Which is when?
I left Refinery a month before quarantine.
Okay, so then you're really like thriving. The quarantine, I mean, you're thriving.
I know.
It's incredible.
Thank you. I think it was just like, I'm alone in my apartment and I obviously had a major freak out. Like I was like, every, event I had was canceled. And, I left Refinery, had producing stuff with like a team and like hair and makeup, And so like when I left, I was like, cool. So that's like obviously what like I have to, when I produce something, like I need everyone involved. And then I was like, oh my God, like I'm not only am I alone and like everything's canceled, but all the content I was planning on making, like I got to do it alone. And like, I couldn't possibly do it alone. And it's like, obviously I could do it alone. I've been making films since I was 15 years old for over.
So are you doing everything by yourself?
I'm basically doing everything by myself. I have an editor because he's amazing. And like, I like having, I like collaborating as much as possible. I do, but like, my live shows, my banana, everything is my ideation. And I just took it as in terms
of like filming everything, like,
yeah.
Wow.
And, it's funny because like I had so much self-doubt. Like even when I was thinking about leaving Refinery, because I was like, I can't do this by myself. And it's amazing how like when you're forced to, you really can. Like I have 3 ring lights, tripod, like phone that shoots in 4K. Like what more do you need? And I do my own makeup and the glow up is real.
Yeah, your makeup's incredible.
But really, truly, like it's honestly like I saw quarantine when it happened. I freaked out, obviously, like had my moment like everyone did. But then I realized I was like, oh my God, there's an expiration date here, thank God, that people are not going to be as engaged on their phones. This is my one shot to literally have all eyes on me right now. And I felt that anxiety, like produce every single day. Every single day has to have a new idea, new show. You got to throw stuff and see what sticks. Obviously what that made me do is go a little crazy and I needed to take a real mental health day because I put so much pressure on myself. But like, that's how I saw it. Like, this is the time. Like, usually I used to post videos and my friends were like, yeah, like I'm at work, like didn't watch it with sound, like, whatever. Now I post something and it's like, boom, everyone sees it.
Yeah.
So I was
gonna say, don't you get overwhelmed or like stressed about how much shit you have to put out? Because for me, even doing podcasts regularly kind of gives me anxiety. Like any kind of, I get so overwhelmed about that. Like in theory, sure, like I could, you know, everyone always said to me, like, you need to put more out, you need to do more outfit photos, this and that. And it gave me so much anxiety. I was like, well, I wear the same fucking thing every day. What do you want me to do?
Oh, don't get me started on the post and the Instagram posting. Like, kill me. I know. I totally understand what you mean.
Like, don't you get like, what, or are you just like, don't you get
I think that honestly part of it is also just working is my way of distracting myself from the fact that I have been alone and that like I'm in my apartment. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if I stop, that's when I'm like, whoa. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, so it's been a really great distraction for me. I'm also just someone who's like, since I was literally like 2 years old dancing naked in front of a mirror, like I've always been obsessed with becoming famous.
I was gonna say with yourself.
Oh, with myself. Yeah, no, like even though I was insecure, like none of the SFK thing is remotely surprising. My parents were like literally like, you just would force us to watch you dance. And we were like, no, but I'm also like an only child. So you could have given me a sibling and then I would have been distracted, but you didn't. So, but none of this is surprising, but also like, since I was really young, like I remember I said to my dad, I was like, so like, I was like 5 or something. And I was like, so I want to be famous when I grow up. And he was like, that's not a profession. And I was like, okay, well, I want to be an actress. And he was like, yeah, like he's a filmmaker. And he's like, yeah, no, like you're going to have a really tough life. Like the chances that you make it are very low. So if you want to be an actress, become a writer, director, write stuff that you can be in, great. And then as I got older, like, you know, even my refinery years, I was like, I want to be a reality TV star. I'm born to do this. I don't want to be a fucking actress. I want to be me. And my mom, who's a reality TV executive, was like, not going to happen.
Really? You're one of those people that I was like, obviously you need to have a TV show.
No, but she was like, well, it depends on the context, right? So like a Bachelor, right? Like I had a legit conference call with both my parents being like, this show was made for me. Like I have to go on this show. Like my personality is just gonna like, and my mom was like, no, because you have no control over how you're portrayed. And you have a personality that is so easy to edit into a villain. They can misconstrue what you say. And it's true. Like I watch all the Bachelors. I have friends that have been on The Bachelor and like, you have no control. Yeah. And she was like, the only reality show that I would ever let you be on is one that I produce. And by reality show, I kind of mean more of like reality as like contestant or like something like
a dating,
like a hosted show. Like if I was like the host of Queer Eye, that's different, right? That's like an unscripted format that's different. But I mean like The Bachelor, Real World, Summer, like those shows.
Yeah.
I would thrive, obviously. But, you know, she was like, you know, the only one that I would let you be on and that is like something I produce. And I was like, cool, like, let's go. Like, let's develop something. She's like, yeah, like nepotism, like absolutely not, like go figure it out yourself. So like, ironically enough, like I'm in quarantine. So both of my parents were like, and I'm an only child, so I look up to them like major and I'm super close, but
yeah.
And they both did it out of protecting me. But like, so I had to find a way. And then in quarantine, I literally created my own reality show that I host, star in, and produce like all by myself. So I have all of the power on that show. It's called Let's Fucking Date. Tune in every Friday at 8:30 p.m.
For real. Okay, but so genius idea, by the way. I love it. I've tuned in twice.
Well, actually, tomorrow I have a second fucking date, so you better tune in.
I was gonna say, so we should obviously discuss some of the contestants because
no one's done this before on a podcast. I love it. Let's do it.
Really? Okay, so the few guys that I knew about, I'm gonna be honest, I missed the first couple episodes.
Everyone did.
I missed
show. Yeah.
Right, like I missed the first date with Val. However, I'd been hearing his name like all the time. So then this last week, I saw when I caught up, you were like, Val wants to come in. Val wants to come in. Should I let him in? Should I let him in? And Val came on and I was like, okay, Val's cute. Like, by the way, I was like, is Val like downtown New York, like painter guy? Or is he like totally, like, what's his deal?
He's from the Ukraine. He came here when he was 10. He like grew up in Brooklyn. He's like owns a barbershop. He like wants to be an actor. He's funny.
Okay, totally. I was like,
was on Temptation Island.
Oh no. Oh no.
But you know what? I have to say, like that date. So we went on the first date together. So this is the thing about the series, to just give our listeners, viewers some background. So I basically was like alone in my apartment and I got an extreme wave of anxiety about being single and alone.
Yeah.
And this is very odd to me because I'm someone who's all about fucking female empowerment. You get your vibrator, bitch. You're good on your own. You don't need a man's. So I was like, what's going on with me? Like, what's wrong with me? And I basically did a lot of research. I ended up writing an article for Refinery about, you know, the anxiety I was feeling about wanting to be in a relationship or wanting to have a companion was completely normal and expected given the circumstance.
Yeah.
So I kind of like was semi-dating someone who lives a block away, and he was going to be my Corona boyfriend, and then things didn't pan out, and then I was like, I'm alone, what the fuck? And like usually on Fridays, like I'm getting really fucked up with my friends, so I was like, oh my god, I'm so bored, I'm alone. What better time to start dating in front of a live audience?
Yeah.
Said literally no one. And the point of the show, I really think like it's so funny to me that people are like, the dating expert, Serena Kerrigan. I'm like, literally what? Like, could not be more single. But I think that for me, like the show is like, yes, it's super entertaining. Yes, I'm meeting guys. Maybe I'll fall in love, maybe not. But it's also showing how women, especially in this time, can date safely. If I can go on a FaceTime date in front of a live audience. By the way, we had 2,600 people watching concurrent for an hour last week. If I can do that to the extreme, you can sit on your couch, have a private FaceTime date for 45 minutes with a guy, right? So it's like empowering women that they can date during this time, that it isn't weird, you know, and like they shouldn't like put so much pressure on themselves. They should have fun. So Val, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like everyone's like Team Val, everyone like wants them to win whatever competition this is. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the competition is like at the end of this, maybe.
But it has to be at the end, you know.
Hang on, are you guys communicating with these people outside of your date?
Right. So to also give context, I literally don't know who's on the other side of the phone. I don't vet the people. I have a producer who does that.
Which I hear when I was present last week. I missed the first dater that I later heard was a nightmare, and you got super upset and looked like you were about to cry. And then I went and looked at him, by the way, and I know who he is, or his brother from LA. And I was like,
I was very upset about that date. Only because I handled it really well during the date. Like I missed
it.
Well, it's on IGTV. All the episodes are on IGTV. So
okay, great.
Recap yourself. But the reason why, so basically I do the date. I do 2 dates on Fridays, half an hour each, 2 different guys. I don't know them. My producer vets them. Friends, family, none of my family members have sent people in, but fans and friends send people in. And then afterwards, I have an after show, which you should totally come on, where I have friends.
I came on last week. Oh no, like I watched last week.
No, I mean like you can actually come on and give your opinion. Like,
okay.
I was like, how drunk was I? So in the after show, like it dawned on me, like someone said, so a friend of mine was like, yeah, like that guy is like a MAGA, like support, like racist, homophobic. And my heart just like, I just like wanted to, because like for me, like I would never entertain a moment with a person like that. So yeah. I was like, so all of a sudden I'm going back and I'm like, was I too nice to this? Because I could sense something was off. He was like trying to stereotype me as being Latina, like being like a spicy, fiery. I was like, what the fuck? Who says that out loud? Or in front of a live audience. So I knew something was weird about him. But like then realizing that this person's like goes against every value that I have, really like I was like, that is not something that I support. I'm like, this is my show. Right. So again, like I'm the producer now.
Yeah.
But I didn't know because it's blind. And I think there's something very exhilarating about me not knowing who it is. Because it's like, you just don't know. That's why the show works, right? It's live. So you literally don't know what's going to happen. And the comments, like all the viewers get to comment in and they feel so involved. Like think about any dating show you've ever watched. Like, yes, you're with
texting with your friends the whole time.
You're texting with your friends, but now you're in it. Like everyone is watching it. The format works. It totally works. It doesn't surprise me that for the reasons, because I think people like in general, like, you know, people are craving authenticity and community. And that's what the show does. It's authentic. It's live. There's no gimmicks. There's no editing. I'm funny as fuck, obviously. And people love dating. People love a love story, which I'm getting because like my fans are, they literally think there's going to be a wedding when this ends, which is something else. And then, you know, I think the sense of community that like you not only get to be a fan and watch, but you get to like there's one of my followers like writes, like types up notes, like an Excel spreadsheet of all of her thoughts. And I bring her on every time. Chloe, she's going to love that I shout her out. What up, Chloe? Every single time, and literally like runs down what her analysis is. And now the whole community is like, let's go, Chloe.
Where's
like
Chloe?
Where's Chloe's notes at? We need Chloe's notes. It's not. It's so crazy. But yes, I'm still talking to Val. Val and I talk because I think that, and I implore anyone who hasn't watched the show to go on IG to even watch the episode, because I think in day one is so scary. The first date is always scary for me because I don't know who it is. So I don't know, I'm reading the room, right? I'm like, who are you? Like, what's your vibe? What's your humor? And he's been on reality TV before, so I knew that he knows how to play the part. But then we were kind of like fucking with each other, whatever. And then the second date, we both took off our SFK.
I was gonna say, so.
And we're more vulnerable. And we both were like, huh, both of us were like, oh, you fuck, like you're cool, like we fuck, like we love. And so we've been texting a little bit, but like, I don't know. Sorry, like I say like this fucks, like that's like
yeah, all the time. I kept seeing it in the comments. And so what? That means like we love it. We love, right? Okay.
It's so on brand, it hurts.
Okay.
I think I need to get a trademark.
You probably should. Okay, so then the one that I saw last week was Anthony, who, okay, I watched the whole thing, actually. And let me just give you my little rundown. First of all, people were saying, he's the kind of guy I was thinking, like, if you're going to do, like, a fuck, marry, kill, he would be the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to take him home. Like, he's one of those kids who, like, you could just be like, oh, you're cute and, like, you're hot and probably have, like, a nice body and, like, whatever. But you wouldn't want to, like, date him, you know?
So I'm going to say, I'm yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I can't, I feel like I can never really say my opinion on these guys. Because I don't want to, first of all, I don't want this to blow up in my face. And second of all, like, I can't.
Okay, fair enough. We can.
But like, I am going on a second date with him tomorrow because my fans voted for it. I wouldn't have gone on it. And I will say that openly, I wouldn't have gone on a second date. But they really wanted to, and he really wants to. So, well.
Yeah, he seemed sweet.
He's really sweet.
Yeah.
He fucked his mom's friends, which was weird that he admitted to that, but
I just know the type, a similar type. Like I had a vision of a similar, when you said the Italian Sagittarius, I died.
My boyfriend.
I died with the red wine too. I just knew like it was.
No, that is my ex-boyfriend. And my ex-boyfriend also like, no. Everything about it, I was like,
okay, so you don't know what at the end of the Serena, the let's fucking date rainbow. You're kind of just like gonna figure it out. Like there's no idea.
Well, me and my mom, now she's helping me because she's like, oh, she's Latina. She's like, oh, you started your own show. Let me help you. And I'm like, oh, now, okay. And she was like, we're basically developing a format that we can bring and we can try to sell. That's like similar to the show, but that's not. But yeah, like I think that this has longevity.
I think so too.
But I don't know if it's gonna have longevity. I don't know. I mean, like no one's done a reality show on Instagram Live before, other than me. So I don't know how this works. Like other seasons.
And people are loving it.
Is there a hiatus?
I mean, like, probably. Yeah, you're gonna probably have to do different seasons.
No shit. Also, I love going out on Fridays. So when the world picks up, like, we're gonna have to pick a different night of the week.
Yeah, no, that'll be like Tuesday.
So we'll see. But for now, it's like, you know, no one has an excuse to not watch my show, especially like Wednesday, whatever. But the Friday show is like, what else are you doing?
Yeah, it's true.
Everyone's seen Too Hot to Handle. Everyone's seen what were the shows? Tiger King. Like, we're done. We're done with our content. Like, here you go.
Well, honestly, you're the only IGTV, like IG Live I've watched.
I know. That's another thing. It's like everyone's like, well, the IG Lives.
Yeah, you know? Like I don't do it, but yours is so fun.
I appreciate that. I think it's a couple things. One, like I also, like when I started at Refinery 29, I was on the live team for 2 years. Like that's like, I started on the Facebook live team and we had to make 60 assets a month. So 2 a day, two fucking full shoots live a day.
That's my worst nightmare.
And I was an intern, bitch. Like, I was a producer. So like, I have so much experience with understanding, like, how to host and also how to produce it, like the cadence of it, or like how you have to connect back to the audience, but still be in the moment, monitoring the comments. Like everything's very similar. So
you're not an amateur, basically. Like you're not just someone who's like, fuck it, I'm gonna make an IG live TV show.
Which is 99%. But wait, hey, I applaud anyone who's creating right now.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
So pre-quarantine, were you like the dating expert person, or were you more like, how did it, like, has it always been like dating vibes?
Literally no.
Okay.
I'm like, the thing I'll date the most is my vibrator. Like I was like, no dating, like no, like out of my life, no. I was seeing this guy only because we like fucked at our holiday party when I was at Refinery. Oops. And like I met like whatever, and then he like asked me on a date. And like, I was just like, okay, like whatever. Like I literally tried to not go on a date with him 5 times. And then I was like, okay, like, he was like, I literally live next to you. And I was like, fine. And then I went on it and I was like, oh wait, this is like kind of fun. But on the date, I was like, I don't want a boyfriend. I'm literally so career oriented right now. I cannot be distracted. And of course we like did start dating a little bit, very casually. He's going to be my current boyfriend.
This guy.
Yeah. And then when I started the dating show, I'm pretty sure that's why we like
stopped talking to each other.
Like, I don't know if I would want to date a guy who has a dating show, right?
No, I don't think so. But that being said, you're dating contestants who are on a reality TV show. So there's that.
I know people are like, oh, Serena, we need to find you better guys. And I'm like, okay, someone that I'm sorry. Like, and I'm not saying that I'm not down. And like, I'm open-minded as fuck. I'm going on these dates for real. I am. This isn't just a show. Like I am trying to be as.
By the way, wait, when is the fantasy suite, AKA like behind the scenes, like dates?
I'm thinking
like where the cameras come off and they like shut the door and they're like, bye.
Okay, so that was the thing. Like Val and I painted together and he made a painting of me. It was really beautiful. And he was like, I'm going to come drop it off. And so we FaceTimed and I was like, are you actually into me or is this just for the show? And he was just like, I could ask you the same thing. And I was like, okay, well, I asked you first. And he was like, no, I like actually am into you. Like, I think you're like great. And I was like, yeah, same. Like it'd be fun to, because when he dropped off the painting supplies to my apartment, like I was like, we both kind of were like shook. We were like,
right, to see each other in real life.
Right. And like, we were kind of like, okay, like I like what you're
yeah.
like a full sweatsuit. So he was going to come over and drop it off. And he was like, we're not going live. Like, we're not doing this for the cameras. Like, we're doing this to, like, to get to know each other. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Obviously I was going to like secretly go live. But then he like kind of like had to like go on a trip or something. And I was like, in quarantine? Okay. So we're going to like, we'll revisit that. But I agree with Fantasy Suite. I also think reunion episode.
Definitely.
Just great. Every single guy in a room. We fly them out to New York, put them in a room. I come out on a fucking white stallion, bitch.
Wait, I'm sorry, but also this just came to mind. Who was the okay, there was a spinoff to Flavor of Love.
I Love New York. Iconic television.
Yes, exactly. Like I'm just getting that, which was incredible and I was obsessed with. So
dating shows fuck, like they do, because like everyone like just like loves, like it's just like, you know, there a lot of people ask like, oh, like when this ends, like are you gonna like there has to be a moment where we do the IRL, like the meetup, like that there needs to be that element. That's why people are like, are you gonna go on a third date with Val? And I'm kind of like, the third date I feel like needs to be in real life. And like,
no, you could do another online.
You think so?
Yeah, I think a 3 is a good number, and then maybe you have like an IRL social distance meetup.
It's just so funny. This is so insane. So to answer your question, was I the dating expert? No, at all. But you know, dating is really so closely aligned to confidence, obviously. Like I was told when I was 13, I was like, really, like, I was at summer camp and I was told like a piece of advice, if I ever were to get a tattoo, like this is what I'd write, which was like, no one will love you until you love yourself. And like, in the sense of like loving yourself first is gonna, that's what you need to do before you enter a relationship, but not even a relationship, like in general, just like at work, every aspect of your life, you have to love yourself. Like, I'm not saying every day you have to be at 100%, but you got to feel good about yourself for the most part. And then you will truly be happy. And so I realized, I was like, you know, the way I am on my dates, like I'm very self-assured, like I'm sassy, I'm witty, like I question things. I don't like nod my head. Like, yeah, like it is confidence, right? And I don't think I would have ever been able to do this show unless I really did love myself and believe that I was worthy of someone amazing.
For sure. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was a bitch when I was dating, who's now my fiance, by the way, but I just have like, for the year before we got together, I started dating, and I just have like certain things that you just had to do. Like, for me, if you couldn't come pick me, I was living in LA at the time. If you couldn't come pick me up, like take the time. No, but like people would be like, let's meet up there. And I'd be like, no. If you can't take the fucking 20 minutes to come and pick me up, that's a no. If you're rude to like a waiter, it's a no. Because, you know, like I had standards. Like my
why are you calling yourself a bitch?
No, I'm saying I wasn't a bitch, but I just had standards.
Like, no, that's like very baseline.
But a lot of my friends don't do shit like that.
I watched an amazing TikTok the other day and I want to recreate it. It was this woman who was like, the guy that you meet the first date is going to be the guy at the end. So he's rude to the waiter, you accept it or you move on. He doesn't pick you up, accept it or move on, because that's who he's going to, people don't change. Yes, sure, a little bit here and there, but like, so I totally abide by what you're saying. Like the first date tells you a lot about a person.
Definitely. I mean, and like after that, my fiance, he said, he was like, man, you made me jump through some fucking hoops. But the thing is, he was, you know,
he deserved that.
Well, exactly. But he's, you know, 41, and when he was like 38, I guess, but like he's a musician and like he's super attractive and was like a professor and like didn't have to work too hard for that, you know? So when he met me, he was like, what the hell? Like he thought it was crazy that I was like, don't be late. Like if you're late, then that means you don't respect me. And therefore like, this is a no, you know, like I love
everything about this.
Yeah. Like I'm very,
that's what men want to be, with someone who's so self-assured and like doesn't, you know.
But it's funny because I don't know if you find this, like, you know, obviously the feminist, what's happening in the world is like, well, if you want to fuck somebody on the first date, like fuck somebody on the first date. But when you don't understand or you're ignorant to the fact that at this point men aren't gonna treat you that way. Like if you fuck somebody on the first date, there's a chance that they're not gonna call you back, and that's just the way it is, you know. And I think that people or women they're like, no, fuck that, like fight against it, or you like trick yourself into thinking you don't care, where you're like, no, I don't care, I just want to fuck them. But like chemicals are released.
Yeah, no, it's literally you hard to care.
Yeah. And then I'm just like in my personal relationships, my relationship, I'm actually very like I'm having a blank on the word. I'm like you know, he's the masculine energy in the relationship.
Right.
And like I'm not like that in my career, but with him I like to feel that way, and I like how he handles shit, you know what I mean? And like that's just what I like. But that doesn't mean I'm like, you what?
I'm very similar to you.
Yeah, like I want to be taken care of at the end of the day. Does that mean that I'm any less of like a feminist? No, because it's my choice to be like that.
Yeah. It's so interesting what you say about the sleeping on the first date thing, because it's tough for me, because I feel when I'm asked that, I want to say it doesn't matter. And I want to say, let's be like men and fuck like men fuck, but it's just not true. Like, it's just not.
I mean, look, there are the 10%.
There's totally exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
But I also think like my psychiatrist said, have them get to know your brain before your body. And it's true. It's just like, you know, like what's the rush here? And that's why it's a perfect time to date during quarantine.
I've been reading. Yeah, I've been seeing this. I mean, obviously.
And I said it literally in March, because I was like, it's the perfect time, because literally you're just speaking. There's no physical there. So they're really getting to know you for you.
I've seen a lot of articles about this, like, or memes, like, sorry guys, like now you have to actually court a woman before fucking them. You know, like,
Let's go.
yeah, I don't know. It's funny because I also was very promiscuous in high school and like between the ages of like 18 and 25. But then I got to a point, I guess, where, and I definitely didn't date how I did before I met Dave. But I don't know, something just happened. I guess it is that sort of idea of like loving yourself, where I realized like what mattered to me, what I truly deserved, like how I shouldn't have to feel like I'm being overly, like, am I being needy? Am I being this? It's like, no, this is how I need to be treated in order to feel good in a relationship. And if you can't give that to me, then something's wrong. Or if like I communicate that to you and you can't give it back to me, then it's not worth my fucking time, because like I should have to feel, I can feel good. I don't need to feel like I'm pining after somebody. Like, fuck that.
So funny that you're saying this. This is like speaking to me.
It's true.
Because I found myself like, the reason why my thing fizzled out, wow, I'm spilling tea here. The reason why like it fizzled out was because I felt like there was like complete lack of communication, and like to the point of being late, and I felt disrespected. I was like, I'm not just sitting around my apartment and like playing with my thumbs. Like I'm literally building an empire. So if you're not going to show up, if you're going to show up 2 hours, 3 hours after you say you're going to come, like, let me know. Like, and it was like, it was a recurring back and forth. And I was like, why can't you just tell me what fucking time you're going to come over? And he was like, I don't plan my day to the T. And I'm like not asking for like a minute, like it's whatever. And it's just like, I find myself someone who's super empowered, like putting up with bullshit, like, and being like, well, maybe I'm being too, no.
Well, okay, there's a book called, and I'll send it to you, and it's do you know Pat Allen?
No.
It's super old school, and
Is it The Rules?
No. It's how to say or something about like how to get to I do. Okay, it's very old school, but it's the concept.
You know, those old school books, they have nuggets of information.
It's the concept of essentially masculine and feminine energy. How if you are putting out masculine energy, which maybe that's your thing and that's cool, you might end up with more of a submissive man versus versus like you being more of like I never would reach out first. I'm never planning a date. I'm never doing any of that shit because like I wanted a dude who's going to do that, you know, and like that's just how I am. But that's not to say like a lot of it is old school and funny, but there are nuggets that you should look if you want, because it's an interesting idea. It really gets into like, you know, the how men just are.
I mean,
it's like
I 100%. I've read so many books about this. Like, I mean, like for me, like I realize I'm like, it just goes. Sometimes it feels like it just goes against the grain of feminism. It does. Like it's just like because it's but then you're like, men were hunter gatherers.
Exactly.
They would go with their men side by side, right, like this, and go fucking hunt. They need that chase. They need that to feel like men. Women, on the other end, we got a fucking baby. We look at it directly in the face. We're nurturers. We want to talk in a group of women. When we would leave, we would go to another group of women, like our cousins, aunts, whatever. So like, yes, biologically,
exactly.
And, right. Would it be biologically? Whatever.
Yes.
Like evolutionary, like, yes, that is how it is. So men should be texting you first. They should, you know, reach out. Like, but for me, it's like, I'm a planner. Like I got shit to do. Like I want to just fucking know.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. I think the friends.
Live in the fun shit is the gray area. That being said, I used to be told if like after date 1, you don't have like a time frame for date 2, then like, you know, you got your Friday.
What sign?
I'm an Aries.
Me too. Duh.
Actually, I knew that. Yeah. I know. No, it goes against the concept. Actually, like dating went against everything that I knew or like stood for as like a person.
For the same person. I feel the same way.
Yeah, like, and it was very hard and very uncomfortable.
You have to like
yeah,
swallow.
literally,
It works.
like it did. I mean, I'm engaged, and I never thought, because like I literally ripped my way through the world, which like, it is what it is. But yeah, it was ripping and tearing.
But it's just so hard for me. Like, and I know you can relate to this. It's like when I want something, I do what I can to get it. The thing about relationships and heterosexual relationships like this, it's like, if you want it, you have to do nothing.
Literally.
And it goes against everything that I believe. Cause I'm like,
No.
I want a hot body. Great. What do I have to do to get it? Oh, I want to fucking be the most famous person in the world. I will literally do anything. Oh, you want to be in a relationship? Sit the fuck back.
I know.
What? It goes against everything I believe, but I know it's true.
I know. No, I completely relate. That's how I lived. Okay, but and like the thing is that at the end of the day, like men are kind of morons. So you can go after whoever, and like you can fuck them, you can do whatever it is, but like you want them, and you can get them in one way or another, but it might not be the like reality of what you want. And like that's the other thing I think is really important, is being honest with yourself about what you want out of a relationship. Because like, sure, if you just want to fuck somebody, you can fuck somebody, but like if deep down you want a relationship, then like don't trick yourself into thinking you're cool to just fuck somebody, because like then you're gonna get hurt,
I feel like I don't know why this is like happening, but you're like speaking to everything in my like everything, like, yeah.
Well, look, I'm proof. If you decide deep in your heart that like you end up wanting to be like married or whatever the fuck it is, I am proof of like someone who was a psychopath, ripped through, and like now I'm very happily engaged. So I literally never thought I'd get married. I didn't believe in monogamous relationships, which actually was a complete way of, it was a self-defense mechanism, being like, fuck that, I don't care, blah, blah, I'm gonna do what I want, you know what I mean? But then like deep in my heart, when I got to a point of like in my life a bunch of shit happened, that I was like, wow, what's important? Do I want to be alone forever? Like, no.
You're killing me right now. Like everything you're saying, I feel like I'm you. Like but it's like a little younger. Like,
how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, that's literally exactly when I was 25 when I decided like, okay, time to get it together. Like my body is a temple, and if you do not earn it, then you're not worth it. I didn't have sex with Dave for almost 2 months.
But you know what? Everything you're saying, I think that, okay, I believe in the universe. I believe like things happen for a reason. I think we're having this conversation right now because, wow, this is so crazy. Because the last kind of semi whatever the fuck that was like, I was like, I just want like a girlfriend and boyfriend. I just want someone to fuck, like whatever. And then we started hanging out. And I didn't feel respected. And then I felt like someone who was just fucking. Yeah. Everything you're saying. I think that for me, it was like, I think quarantine in general is like a time of a lot of self-reflection.
For sure.
And you should take it as that. And I think that like in terms of dating and who I am and the role of men and women and the politics of it, it's like I've had to really dissect it. I feel like I literally am you. Like I feel like I am you before you became you. So I'm like, I'm listening.
No, it's good. I mean, it's it's touch and go, but like it was definitely not without supportive friends, of like, a couple friends. You also have to be careful who you ask advice from, because if you don't look at someone's relationship and think that's what I want, if you have, you know what I mean? Like there were like older women I spoke to that were like married in relationships that were more like old school with how they maneuvered in relationships, which I knew I wanted.
Yeah.
And like it's hard, I think, in this time, especially when you are who you are, or even me as well, like it seems less like a feminist standpoint if you're like, no, I'm gonna let this man do whatever it is, and like I'm not. But that's your right, and you're allowed to choose that, and you're allowed to be like that in relationships, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to, you just have to figure out what you want. And then I do believe in like the universe and shit, and like we'll see what happens. You definitely can't fuck anybody now, so there's that.
There is
I
that.
did this so with Dave. I actually like didn't have sex with him until we got tested and until I got an IUD. And we waited until that, and he took me to get my IUD and paid for it. And I was like, okay. I was like, this is the one, clearly. Like, you know.
That's a man.
I know. You know, but it's men are, you know, they're fucking like 41, 21, 31, like they're all dodos, honestly.
So fucking stupid. Which is why women should run the world.
100%. I completely agree. Okay, so lastly, I do just want to ask you, because I look at you and think like, oh my God, she is like killing it. Like, you must feel so good about yourself all the time. Like, you know, and so is Serene, is SFK all the time? Like, do you ever just have moments like alone where you're just like, oh man, like I don't feel so great? Or do you just always feel great all the time?
Yeah, you're smart enough to know the answer to that question. No, bitch. What? No, I mean, no. Like, I think I'm just someone who's like very positive. I always try to see things positively. I think that my like actual like reason for being on this earth is to show that I have such a like childlike, like fun experience with life. And like to show like I'm in love with life, and like I just want to share that experience with people. I think that's like my role in all this. But like no, I'm really overwhelmed. So, like I was like, okay, like I think maybe I need an intern, because like I can't do everything that I want to do. I like got really like off track, and I'm like wasn't making content for a little bit. It's like a week, but that's like a lot for me. Like I like to put out something at least every day. That's not happening. And like I was like, okay, I'll like hire an intern. And then like I have 330 applications to look through. And I'm like,
That's a lot. Wow.
that's a lot. And I'm like, and what fucking, I'm like, I need an intern to find an intern. So it's like I do, and I'm so overwhelmed about that, because I'm like, this is a great time to have an intern, because a lot of people have lost their jobs, and like, and it's a paid intern. So it's like, I'm gonna get a really good fucking cream of the crop here. But I'm like, now I'm like already like, I just like, am I gonna pick the right one? Like, I'm someone who like, I'm very collaborative, and I like having people gut check things and like be like, what do you think? And so yeah, like it's overwhelming. It's just, but I also feel at the same time, like I've worked so hard my entire life to like get to this point. And I'm like, this is what I was like, this is what I've been wanting.
Yeah.
I'm like, so it's like, you got to keep going. Like you can't lose that momentum.
That's, yeah. I mean, I hope you're taking care of yourself in the process.
Yeah. I am. I just like, I don't know. It's just like I'm alone. So it's like, what do? You know, like I watch TikToks and stuff. No, it's fine. Like I needed this. Like, you know, I used to say to my mom, like, I would be so much more successful if I like didn't just like love to get fucked up on the weekends. And she was like, yep. And like, this was it. Like, I was like, I really like, it's like, it's time to focus, you know?
It's cool that like I mean, I just started the process of getting my GED, which like I've wanted to do for years. And I started like I signed up for it like maybe a year ago, but I was just too busy. I couldn't like dedicate the time to doing it. And now I'm like working towards getting it, and I'm like, okay, quarantine is beginning to, you know, I'm beginning to get to have like some positive experiences from it, you know, like the first like 5 weeks I was just like, I can't do anything, you know, like
a lot of people felt that way. Yeah, for sure.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you get from your fans, whether it's comments, questions, like what do you find that you bring to people most? Like, does that motivate you to keep going? Because on days where I'm like, what I'm doing is worthless, this is ridiculous, like I don't know what I'm doing, who am I to do this, then I get like a message. You know, I used to have people come up to me in the street and I'd be like, oh right, okay, like this matters, you know. does that motivate you? Like, did that sort of, because for me it was kind of like a snowball effect a little bit, where I was like, one thing led to the next, or do you feel like you're really like does it have a factor of like wanting to show other people that like you can do what you want to do, and like you can be who you are, and that's sort of like shameless, that's it, right?
The brand exists because that's what it's for. Yeah. It's like, so it's funny because like when I was like really trying to build the brand, like when I knew it was like I want to be the queen of confidence, like I talked to my mom and I was like, do I get a life coach certificate? Like, do I need, like, who am I? Like queen of confidence, like, am I allowed to make that claim? Why do I have authority in the space? And I was like, of course I have authority in the space, because what I'm saying is once I was insecure and now I'm confident, and now that I'm empowered, I want to empower you. And I'm going to help use the tools that I did and let them apply to you. And I'm telling you, like, I get messages like when I say novels, emails, like literally like being like, you changed my life. You saved my life. Like I was depressed. I saw you. Like, it's so, that is the brand for me. Like when I land a brand deal, I'm like, nice. Okay. Like, cool. Like, great. Now I can afford my rent. It does not give me any excitement. Truly. Maybe I haven't landed the right brand deal, but I mean, like I love my brand deals. Don't get me wrong. Like I love, but it's like, that doesn't fulfill me. The money never fulfilled me. It's making an impact. It's making a change in someone's life. Like, and it's so crazy that I'm like so altruistic. Cause like, you know, I think when people think of SFK, they're like, oh, she's so obsessed with herself. But the point is, it's like, it's a character that is so obsessed with herself to show that you can be too. Like I created something called the SFK Mirror Challenge, which is literally like the SFK Mirror Challenge.
Okay.
It literally started because I literally would just like have my phone at my feet, walk towards my mirror, and then show and be like, it's the SFK Mirror Challenge, bitch. Because like I wanted to like show how hot I looked. What it did though was it empowers all my followers to do it under the guise of the SFK Mirror Challenge, saying like they're just doing a challenge, but really it's to show them that yes, you can go in front of your mirror, take a fucking selfie and be like, I'm hot, and say it to the world. Yes, you can put your fucking face on your fingernail. Like, yes, you can celebrate you. Of course you can. That's not cocky. Like celebrate you, because when you celebrate you, you love you, you're going to help lift others up. It's the insecure people that are like, did you see what you posted? Like, oh my God, because they want to feel good. They want to feel validated about their own decisions. But it's the people that are empowered that are bringing the world to a more positive place. So I'm like, fucking say how hot you are. Like every day when you wake up, when you brush your teeth, you're literally like, damn, you're a bad bitch, Serena. I fucking love you. I do that. So I try to see myself as a person outside my person, because it's very difficult to be mean to a person, right? To your friend.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole brand is about empowering everyone, but specifically women, because I was very unhappy for a period of my life because I was insecure. And I was like, fuck that. Like, this is way too short and way too precious to not be in love.
Did something happen that changed that? Or was it just a gradual thing? Or did you have like a moment, something happened where you were like, okay?
No, it's gradual. It took years and years and years. I think it was a combination of a lot of things. One, it was therapy to realize where the anxiety was coming from, the insecurity was coming from, which was obviously everything is related to your upbringing and your childhood. So everyone should be in therapy to figure out who the fuck they are, period. Two, it was the SFK thing, having that persona that I could like fall back on and learn from was very helpful. Three, the relationship with my body, like taking my health seriously, like really working out and like eating well. Like that was really helpful for me in my confidence. Like there's things about my body, like my tits are literally to the floor. Like I don't know what the fuck gravity is doing to my tits, but whatever. But like that's funny now to me. Before I could never talk about my boobs, you know? So, yeah. But I think but it's all like, it was totally a culmination. It was also me feeling really fulfilled with my job. Like that was my own, creating something that I could, you know, before I did like, what was my thing, you know? So it's like, it's a culmination of so many things. It wasn't an aha moment, and confidence isn't an aha moment. It's not a switch you just turn on, but it is a choice that you can commit to every single day. And I think you'd all commit.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, I should also talk to you in like outside of this and stuff, because it's hard because I feel like I had a very similar experience, you know, like miserable for most of my life, honestly, until I was like 24, 23. I would say around 22 it started to change, and then really I kind of got it together when I was like 24, but I don't know like how to, what the hell's happening?
I'm here.
I don't know what to do with that information, and I know I want to be able to share it, and from what I do share, people really respond to it, but I've never, it's always been about like uplifting other people and sharing other people's stories, and
No.
I don't know how to, it feels so self-indulgent for me to be like, okay, here's what I think.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because the thing about my brand is that it works because it's aspirational, but attainable. So it's like, you can be SFK. You can channel your inner SFK. You can be just like me. But the only way that I'm able to convey that message is if I share my story and show them that I wasn't always this. I mean, you just asked, you're like, are you always like this, like that? I'm like, no. But so it's not self-indulgent because you are who you are now, like you're confident now. But the only way that you're going to really help people is to talk about how difficult it was for you. Because if not, they're going to be like, oh, she's always been like this. She's fine. Like, she's so like empowered, like whatever, like can't relate. But if you show that you tell your story, that's the thing. The second I started telling my story was the second I started to really grow and to really understand what my brand was about. You have to tell your own story. Yes, is it important to empower others to tell theirs? Absolutely. But they want to look up to you. They want to see themselves in you. And if they see that you weren't always 100, then they're like, oh shit. It gives them hope to be able to, be as empowered as you are.
And how do you think, like, what's a good way to sort of start sharing that? Like writing, like what have you found?
You literally have a fucking podcast. Do a solo episode. Duh.
Talking about what?
Talking about your journey.
Yeah, right.
Talk about it. Talk about, just drop a pin. Just be like, I'm going to tell you about how the moment that I felt like I started becoming confident. And then it's kind of, do it. It's scary. Hey. Vulnerability is so scary, but there's nothing more empowering. No. Nothing. Like every time I'm like, I literally was like, I got a cold sore right before my birthday. Oh yeah, you commented on my Instagram. Got a cold sore right before my birthday. And my nightmare. And I like posted on my story and I had the same question. I was like, is this a little self-indulgent in that, like, even though I was crying and I was genuinely upset, I was like, is this like me begging for attention? Like, what is the deal here? But I was like, no, I'm genuinely pissed. Yes, do I know there's a pandemic outside? Absolutely. But bitch, I don't want a cold sore on my face before my birthday. So obviously the way I framed it was sensitive, but I was like, I'm upset. Like, I'm pissed. Like, fuck this. What it did for me was everyone was amazing. And now I know every cold sore fucking remedy in the world. Everyone was like, thank you so much. Like, oh my God, no one ever talks about this. I'm like, literally everyone has herpes. Like, shut the fuck up. But whatever. But what it did too was like, then, of course, everyone does. But then what I loved was then I was like, a week later, I was like,
you're like,
still here. 2 weeks later, hasn't gone away. And now when I get a cold sore again, it's so funny. I'm like, I can't even believe I was embarrassed about this. I'm like, right? So it's like, there's something about when you share your story, it's so scary, but then you have to ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? And you're just so surprised by one, how much people will support you, how like they're going to rally behind you. And that's why I think that my community is like so fucking engaged, like insanely engaged. They literally like eat everything up that I do, but it's because I'm literally like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like I'm not bullshitting you. Like, this is who I am. This is what I'm scared about. This is what I'm anxious about. I'm getting my fucking hair dyed. Like, here we go. Like, and they're like, you're so real. And I'm like, what other choice do I have, bitch?
Do you keep some things for yourself?
Definitely. There's definitely some things that I choose not to talk about that like, I think about, I'm like, I really want to write a book one day, but so much of like my journey is about my upbringing and there was things that happened. And so yes, there's definitely things that I keep sacred and like secret's not the right word. There's things that I do keep to myself, but that's out of protection of others, not because of me.
I feel that.
It's just, I want to respect people's privacy, but we live in a TMI generation, honey. So
it's true. We really do.
Share is what I say. And don't think twice. People are going to be so excited that you're sharing your story. They're not going to get fucked. They care about the content. It's the same way with my videos. Like I was like shooting on an iPhone. Like, no one gives a fuck that it's shot on an iPhone. They care about what am I saying. So it's the same with you.
Yeah, true.
Don't worry so much about the medium. Just do what you're comfortable with.
Right. I feel like my story is so depressing.
No. See, that's no. Stop doing that.
Really
Stop
rough.
Okay, well then all the more, if you're comfortable, then all the more reason to share it.
Right. Yeah. Maybe I was thinking about doing something for Mental Health Awareness Month because I had a really, I was diagnosed bipolar when I was 26, which literally changed my life.
Right.
So I was like, maybe I talk about my like bipolar meltdown and like how I ended up there because it's literally changed my life.
Well, I think like literally, I can't believe you haven't, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
That needs to happen.
Okay. I'm going to be like, maybe I will.
Stop. But stop doing stop thinking about what other people are thinking and share your story. Life is too short and you have a platform and you have a voice, and all the women and men that are also diagnosed with bipolar disorder or also have a mental illness or also going through something are going to feel really seen and heard.
Right.
And the people that don't care don't have to fucking listen.
True.
You're going to surprise yourself. You have to do it.
You don't get like stressed about how many people are watching or.
I care about the work. I care about the work that I'm making, the content that I'm making. I don't think, someone asked me the other day, how do you set yourself apart from other influencers? I'm like, I don't think about other influencers and I don't think about my audience. I think about my work. Like, what is the message I want to send out? Do I think about how is this going to be perceived? Because I'm a white woman, I have privilege. I grew up in yes, 100%. I'm aware of that. And I think about the messaging of the tone. But in terms of the second that I gave that up, the second I gave a shit caring about, oh my God, what about the guy that I'm fucking? What is he going to think when I post about a story about how I squirted or something? Can't believe that just came to mind, but whatever. And I was like, that's no, I don't care. If he doesn't like that, he doesn't like me sharing my story, then he's not the guy for me.
Yeah.
And your audience is just going to love that. But think about the work and think about what is the story you want to tell.
I've never heard that from anyone. It's always like, what do I think my followers want to see? Oh, they want to see more outfit photos. They
never
want to see this.
Never. You know better. You know what they want to see.
They want to see my outfit. No, I'm kidding.
My dad taught me that, though. My dad taught me that. He's a filmmaker, writer, director, and with review, he just is always focused on his vision, the way he's telling the story. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about accolades and he's super successful, but he never, you have to have, you're a horse and you have blinders on and you get to the finish line. You don't pay attention to the other horses. You don't pay attention to the crowd. It's you, you got to go there. And I think that the more that you block it out, you said, you're like, oh, that's so depressing. For who? For you? Yeah, I'm sure it was really hard. All the more reason to tell it.
Right.
Do you know that I do confidence coaching? I feel like I'm on a confidence coaching right now.
No,
I feel like we're literally on a podcast. Sorry.
No, I love it. Okay, my fucking computer is about to die, which is
okay.
But
we got through a lot. So
I know. I'm so happy to finally get to talk to you, and obviously I'd love to keep in touch, and this was super helpful for me as well. And thank you for doing this.
Love you, obviously. I feel like I've known you my whole fucking life. Aries, fuck. And I can't wait to listen to your solo episode.
True. And I'm gonna tune in this Friday. Can't wait to see. Wait, what time is it on again?
So on Fridays it's on at 8:30 Eastern time.
Okay, 5:30 my time. That's my nap time, but maybe I'll stay awake. I'll stay awake. I'll stay awake for the whole thing.
Without it.
I will be there. Okay. Thank you so much.
Be sure to share, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram at I'm Over It Podcast or me at Atlanta Bean. I've also launched a Patreon if you really, really love I'm Over It. So head over to www.patreon.com/I'm Over It. Until next time.